tension around River's eyes gave away just how tired he was as he placed the mug of coffee on the table in front of me. "When are you due back to the school?" He winced as I asked. It had become a bit of a sore subject. It was hard for my brother having a job outside of the pack business. He loved being the school counselor, though, and now that we had 2 of the pack pups at the school, his job was important to the pack. "Tomorrow." "You can go back, River. I know how much you love your job. Besides, we need to try and get back to normal at some point," I told him. I hated that he was feeling so nervous about leaving us. It wasn't like him. River sighed and slumped back in his chair, cradling his coffee in his hands. "I know, and I do love the job. I don't know. I don't feel right leaving the pack anymore." "You mean you don't feel right leaving Calli?" I pointed out. He nodded sadly, his eyes dropping to his coffee mug like it held the answers to all his problems. "Have we even solved anything? The council knows about her, and we don't know what they're planning. We might have put a stop to the witches for now, but some of them got away. I feel like we're going to be constantly looking over our shoulders." His eyes nervously cast over to Calli's bedroom door, and he stared longingly at it for a moment before shaking his head and sitting up to shuffle the paperwork about. River was right, and for a moment my brain faltered as I struggled to find any words to reassure him. How the fuck were we going to get through this? Self-doubt was something that seemed so at odds with my alpha nature. I was supposed to have all of the answers. I was supposed to keep everyone safe. But these days, I felt like I was barely breaking the surface for air. I couldn't hold everyone else up at the same time. "How about we just take our problems as they come to us?" Calli's soft voice came from behind me as I felt her hand trail across my chest before she wrapped me in an embrace. My runaway emotions slowed, and my wolf sighed dreamily as he felt our mate wrap her arms around us. She was the calm in the storm, the center of everything. I could see River take a breath, ready to disagree with her, so I shot him a scowl, effectively halting him in his tracks. Even if it was unwise not to prepare for what was most likely coming our way, Calli deserved a few days to decompress from what she'd just been through. We all did. "What time is Sean due to arrive? I can arrange for someone to meet him at the airport if you want," I asked her, before River had the opportunity to change his mind and start to argue. "He's renting a car from the airport. He should be here sometime this evening. He didn't give me an exact time in the message he sent me." I hooked an arm around Calli's waist and pulled her onto my lap as she spoke. Calli just smiled at me, not saying a thing about being manhandled. Burying my face in her neck, I took a long inhale of her scent. Lilac and twilight jasmine flooded my senses, and I tightened my arms around her. What I wouldn't give for her bed not to be filled with kids at this moment. "That seems like a long flight," River mumbled, frowning in confusion. "Once he got word we were all back safely, I think he decided to make a stop somewhere." Calli shrugged. My eyes hit River's across the table, who was also frowning in concern. Probably just as much as I was. "Oh, stop!" Calli suddenly laughed, jumping out of my lap and heading towards the kitchen. "If you keep seeing conspiracies and danger everywhere you look, you're never going to have time to enjoy the life you have in front of you." Calli filled the kettle and switched it on before turning back to us. "Where's everyone else?" "Aiden and Blake took Nash, Hunter, and Cassia to the pack house so they could sleep. Cassia's still in pretty bad shape, and Hunter won't leave her side. Davian disappeared last night to go and make sure that everyone made it back to the clan house." River filled her in. My wolf bristled in my mind at the mention of Davian's name. Now that we'd enlisted Davian's help with the witches, moving his clan out of the area was going to be impossible. Not to mention the fact that Calli still owed him a favor. I didn't trust the smarmy vampire at all. There was something off about him, and it wasn't the fact he was technically dead and lived off the blood of others. "How about we start with a small problem first, and then work our way up?" Calli laughed, as she took a seat at the table with us. Her green eyes twinkled in amusement, and I couldn't stop the smile that spread across my face at the mere sight of her. She was undoubtedly the most beautiful creature I'd ever seen. Her smile spread wider at my look.